Hi, okay, I'm Mr. Diskin, and what we're going to be doing now is looking at how to revise in history. So the first thing to do is to go to your Google Classroom, and your teacher would have put a question bank on Google Classroom of all types of exam questions. And what we're going to be doing today is revising Anglo-Saxons. So we've got a whole bank of 4-mark questions, we've got a whole bank of 12-mark questions, and a whole bank of 16-mark questions. I would start with a question and use the question to form the basis of your revision. So today we're going to be looking at 12-mark questions, and I've chosen a question on the Battle of Hastings. This might be an area of weakness in terms of your knowledge. Obviously that's a good idea or a good place to start because you want to fill those gaps. So, Battle of Hastings. You've got 2 revision guides. These revision guides have all been scanned, and they are also available on your Google Classroom. So there's 2 different styles, whichever one you want to use. I've got both in front of me, just so you can get an example of the different resources available to you. So I've opened it to the pages on the Battle of Hastings. What we're going to do before we even attempt to answer this question, we're going to produce a series of flashcards which look at the main events of the Battle of Hastings and the reasons that William of Normandy won. Okay, it's entitled the Battle of Hastings, so we're looking at reasons that William won. So we're going to start with just one of our reasons, and that is looking at William's tactics and William's leadership. So I've got 2 revision guides here, why the Normans won and why the Normans won. I would have your reason in quite bold letters, and then the main theme or the main reason highlighted, and then you're adding supporting detail around the side of it. So for example, one of William's brilliant tactics was the feigned retreat. Okay, so then I would write that down on my flashcard. If you don't like mind maps, you could always make bullet points on your flashcard, but you need to figure out what works for you and what helps the knowledge stay into your head. If you know what the feigned retreat was, you could leave it like that. If you forget or you're unsure, have a read. It talks about pretending to run away, making the Saxons run down the hill, breaking the shield wall, and the shield wall is easy for the Norman cavalry to pick apart once it's broken. So feigned retreat. I might put a little reminder to myself, broke shield wall. Okay, and again, little images or little sketches to help you. You could draw a picture of the shield wall being broken, or you could draw a picture of someone pretending to run away down a hill. It's dual coding, it helps the idea stick in your head. So you've got the feigned retreat. You've also got the fact that William used cavalry, or chose to use cavalry in his army, which gave him a big advantage. Most of his troops were professional soldiers or mercenaries, as opposed to regular people who were given weapons. So that could be another example of one of the clever tactics used by William. So soldiers were professional soldiers. Okay, and then go through and get all your reasons down. Okay, so I've got 4 reasons why William of Normandy won the Battle of Hastings. We've got luck, we've got the previous battles weakening Harold's army, we've got tactics and leadership, and we've got the fact that William was incredibly well prepared. If we then go across to our Bluffer's Guide, for a 12-mark question, what we need to do is have 3 point evidence explained paragraphs. So in the exam question, you're expected to write 3 different reasons why William won the Battle of Hastings. We've got 4 here. So what I would do is choose the 3 most important and get rid of the one you are least confident on, or get rid of the one that you feel is least relevant to the question. So reason 4, I'm not as confident as writing about William's preparation, so what I'm going to do is discard that, and I got my 3 different reasons. The one I'm most confident with, and one that I think is the most important, is William's tactics and leadership. So when it comes to planning my answer, I'm going to have that one as my main reason. I'm going to have previous battles as my second reason. My third reason is going to be luck. So I've got my question, why William won. I've got my first paragraph, second paragraph, third paragraph. I've got my Bluffer's Guide with sentence starters. What I'm going to do is start writing an answer to that question. Just to refresh what the question is, we decided to work on a 12-marker today. Again, these question banks are all on your Google Classroom. Explain why William of Normandy won the Battle of Hastings. So I'm going to write that question again up here just to remind myself. The idea is you're always using the words from the question in your answer. make sure you stick to the point, but it makes it easy for the examiner to award you marks. Okay, make their job as easy as possible. So explain why William won the Battle of Hastings. Just to recap, I've based my revision on a particular question. So the first thing we did is chose a question. I then used the relevant pages in the revision guide to create these flashcards with mind maps, different reasons, different images on why William won the Battle of Hastings. I've organised my 3 points, because for a 12 mark you need 3-point evidence explain. I've organised them in order of importance. I've discarded my other reasons that I was less confident writing about and I thought was less relevant. The question is explain why William won the Battle of Hastings. If we return to our bluffers guides, for a 12-mark question, take about 15 minutes in the actual exam, you need to have 3-point evidence explain paragraphs, okay? So we've got the question, explain why William and Normandy won the Battle of Hastings. I'm going to use the words from the question in my answer to ensure I stick to the point and also to make the examiner's job easier so they can award me marks. Remember to refer to our glossaries, which are in the back of our books, to make sure you're using subject-specific vocab to again make your answer as sophisticated as possible. So I'm going to start by saying I've chosen tactics and leadership. So I will start by saying the most important reason that William won the Battle of Hastings was tactics, or were his effective tactics and leadership. So I'm using the words from the question. The most important reason that William won the Battle of Hastings was his tactic of the feigned retreat. Okay, that's my point. Now I'm going to add my evidence. For example, William's cavalry used the Norman tactic of the feigned retreat. So I've got my point, I've then got my evidence. I then need to make sure I explain and link back to the question. So this led to victory because, this meant that, this made William win because. So I'm going to say this led to Norman victory, or this led to William's victory because. Again, keywords, fjord, that'll be in your glossary. So make sure you are using your glossaries to help you answer questions. This led to William's victory because his cavalry pretended to run away, drawing Harold's inexperienced Saxon fjord down the hill, breaking the shield wall in an attempt to kill William's men. The cavalry then turned around and outflanked the disorganised fjord, cutting them down. This turned the battle in favour of William. William then repeated this tactic multiple times, leading to the total collapse of the wall and Harold Godwinson's death, or leading to William's victory, Harold Godwinson's death. That's your explanation. So this is 1 point evidence explained based on tactics. I would then do another point evidence explained based on previous battles, or based on my reason 2, which is previous battles, the fact that Godwinson's army were tired, exhausted, etc. And then another final point evidence explained on luck, the fact that Hardrada's invasion happened when it did, causing William's troops to be tired, the fact that William of Normandy was able to get there because the wind changed direction, etc. So this is your 1 point evidence explained, and then I would do 2 more, and then you can give your answer to any history teacher. We will then read it, mark it, and give you feedback on how to improve.